Hi everybody, this is Joe Rodriguez from the 2023 UCLA Executive MBA program, and we are doing our podcast. We started recently. We had a couple of guests. I like our next guest. She's already smiling. She's got to get that microphone very close to her though, so that way...
Sure.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep, on
there
it.
You go.
Got it, boss.
So first of all, I want to welcome the good, the great Maddy Blake.
Thank you.
Maddy, how are you?
I'm fabulous. It's been a long time coming for us to do this, so I'm just excited to get into the nitty gritty here.
I'm absolutely excited to have you here with me today. And, you know, it's been fun doing the podcast with the other guys and gal. But now it's your turn. So are you ready to get the party started?
Hell yes.
All right. So first of all, we want you to tell us about yourselves. Pretty much whatever you are willing to share.
Sure. Well, I like that you introduced me as Maddy Blake. Also, Maddie Hirschman is probably another name floating around campus these days, but Maddy Blake is the official name. I am currently working at Gallo Wine Company as our general sales manager. I manage a team of sales people and manage a distributor in Southern California. I live in Orange County. It's actually where I grew up, but I've bumped around all of SoCal for the past, call it 15 years now, but landed back up in Orange County a couple years ago, and not a bad place to be.
Not at all.
No. So I think that's kind of the long and short of it. I went to school down in San Diego at the University of San Diego, got a job with Gallo straight out of college, and have been there for 9.5 years. And then recently decided, literally on a whim, to apply to go to UCLA. And I was probably one of the last applicants. Got in within a week and decided to come here. So this was a very last minute decision to spend $170,000.
Wow. Well, there's a quote, and I'm going to butcher it right now, but it's from the good old Napoleon Bonaparte that says... one of the most precious things that people have is the ability to be able to decide, right?
Yeah.
So that was a pricey decision.
It's pretty impulsive.
All right.
But I think decision-making and quick decision-making is a strength. Also, I'd say my best decisions have been extremely impulsive.
All right, but I want you to dive deeper into why you ended up choosing UCLA with so many great executive MBA programs. Why the Bruins?
Yeah, so I really only looked at USC and UCLA just because of the ranking. I wanted an executive program as well. But my best friend is actually a year ahead of us. So she's 2022 grad. She also works for Gallo. Last year, I forced her into this program after she was we went back and forth on it for like 2 years. And finally, I was like, dude, you got to do this program. Like, you're on the fence and like someone needs to push you over the edge. So she did it. And then what happened is my company offered some assistance financially. And my boss sat me down and was like, hey, you saw that Gallo was like offering some financial assistance. I was like, yeah, I've been thinking about it. And he's like, I think you should do it. And my boss never gives me his opinion one way or the other. And so he brought it up one more time that day, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. So I applied to USC and UCLA, but the way that Aaron spoke about it, I was like, UCLA seems like by far the better choice.
Yeah.
Like, they really support their students, like are very understanding of the like work kind of comes first. Whereas my experience at USC was like really kind of shitty.
Huh.
Did you look at there?
No, I didn't consider them, but go on.
You did? Okay, so like I grew up with a USC family.
Okay.
Like I'm going to the UCLA USC game next weekend. And my whole family is USC. So wow. This is...
Traitor.
I know. So being a Bruin is actually like, still, it doesn't really sink in. My company sponsors USC, so I was maybe there a couple weeks ago at a suite. But ultimately, my experience there with their whole onboarding process was really not good. Like, they only talked about how much money you could make, and this, like...
Interesting.
It was very pretentious.
Huh.
And I felt like it was more about the image of USC and not the experience that you could gain from it. It was more like, this is the image that you'll have, whereas UCLA was very much like, here's the experience that you're going to gain and the support we're going to give you. And I just felt like I clicked a lot more with what this program had to offer.
You know, that's very interesting because from my personal experience, I remember thinking about how I felt that UCLA was a very compassionate and caring
Yeah.
school.
Yes. Same. Which I did not think existed in like
No.
a school program. I just didn't understand that that was a thing. But I mean, clearly, I mean, look at our group. We were just talking about this. Like, every single person cares about ourselves outside of just the academic piece. And that was what I was looking for, because I knew this was going to be stretched. This was going to be a tough program for all of us. And so I think we all came in with that same mindset, which I think is why we're all doing pretty well in this program to begin with. I think we all just understand where we're all coming from.
Yeah, and one of the things that I always bring up is that everyone's time here is so valuable. So
Yes.
I want to thank you, first of all, because I should have done that from the very beginning. I'm just such a bad host. I should
Sure.
have thanked you from the very beginning for taking your time. Again, time, right? The only thing that we can never get back,
Yes.
right? No matter what.
100%.
But let's talk about the community, right? And the things that we want to bring into the program. So can you tell me 2 to 3 things that you hope to get or either accomplish during this Executive MBA program?
Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to be challenged. I've been with the same company for a long time, and I've climbed that rank, and I feel like I'm at the top of my hierarchy, and I am. And so as a result, I don't have people around me that challenge me and make me think differently, because everyone's below me. And that's not a comfortable place to be. Like, I need people that are my peers that can challenge me and can make me think differently. So college was the only thing I was ever good at, ever in my life. I was a really good student. And it's because I thrived on college campuses and around academics, because it stretched me and made me think, and it challenged me. I double majored in philosophy and political science. Like, let me just back up. It's
Wow.
super strange, very
Okay.
different. But I went to college to learn how to think, not what to think. And I think that's a very different way than most people go to college. Most people go to college in order to get a job. I went to college because I wanted to get an education.
Most people go to college to party, really.
I mean, sure, we all might have done some of that, but I really wanted to study the classics and learn how to think. And so I think the farther removed I've gotten from a college campus, the less I've remembered that. And so I wanted to go back to school in order to have my thoughts challenged again. So that's why I came back to get an MBA. I wanted to be challenged and surrounded by people that were smarter and better and different than me. So what I'm hoping to get out of it is being stretched again and being challenged and gaining a new perspective outside of what I'm calling the group think that I've had at the same company for a really long time. And my hope is that I can bring back a fresh perspective to Gallo and add value in a way that I haven't been able to in the past. Because long term, like, I want to be a director there. I want to be a VP there. And I think I can. And I think I probably could without an MBA. But I think I'll add way more value and be able to stretch the company to think differently too.
Right. No, that's very well said. And I think that there's a lot of things that most of us, in even this short amount of time, are probably already applying. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, 110%.
Yeah.
It's funny because I feel like I'm so busy when I'm at work. Like, I'm very, very overwhelmed. And my biggest area of opportunity at work is time to ideate, just to sit down and think, like, what is my vision and what do I want? How do I want to get there? And I don't find that I have time to do that at work right now because my job is overwhelming and I've had what I'm calling the great exodus, like everyone's quitting. So when I come to class, I get to stop and think for the first time and like apply that back. So I've had some really cool takeaways so far already.
That's great. You mentioned being challenged, and I think that's something that obviously a lot of people are afraid to, right? Like, some of us like crave that challenge, including yourself, but some of us are, content if you kind of like just kind of row with the flow of things. But there's obviously barriers and obstacles that we have to deal with, or maybe I've had to like overcome. So I want you to actually point out what are like some of the biggest personal or professional roadblocks that you maybe had to overcome in the past.
Yeah. I'd say 2020 was a shit year. I think it was for a lot of people. My parents owned a restaurant, and during COVID it went under and they lost it. And so my brother and I had to bail them out financially. And I had to go through their finances and pay all their bills and assume all their debt and then sell the restaurant. And that was a nightmare of a process. So that was a big roadblock just like financially, but personally watching your parents struggle. And I think seeing your parents in a different light, like, you know, they're not taking care of you, you're taking care of them, like really changed the family dynamic. That was a big personal struggle. Another personal struggle, I'm going through a divorce, so that shit sucks. My choice, but also at the same time of going through this program is a lot on your plate. It's another financial blow. But also personally, you know, it's not the way I envisioned my life going, being divorced at 31. Like, that's ridiculous. So that sucks. And then I think professionally, I mean, shit, man, I manage a team of grocery store sales reps through COVID, and we were deemed essential employees. And selling liquor in a grocery store doesn't seem super essential. And as a result, I had a lot of really unhappy people that worked for me over the past couple years and still do. And so that was a really scary time. So when we talk about change management and working through social unrest and managing teams that were going into the epicenter of the disease on a daily basis because they had to, and it wasn't me that was telling them, it was the United States government, but they still pointed a finger at me and blamed me for it and expected me to have all the answers, which I'm not a doctor. And I got yelled at, and parents called me. There were a lot of hard nights. So I'd say the last year has been personally and professionally pretty tough. So what's up, 2021?
Wow.
I guess 2022 at this point.
Thinking about what you just said, think about that quote, right? What doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah.
It's easier said than done, but definitely anytime you're able to overcome any kind of roadblock or major struggle like that, either makes you thick skin or it definitely does make you stronger because it just gives you a different perspective in many different ways. And it builds character. It really does make people stronger in my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I have learned a lot. I wouldn't say I would do it again. Like, the last 18 months have been probably the worst 18 months of my life. But there's been a lot of good things that have come out of it, too, right? Like, I put myself first for the first time in a long time. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much of this I could share. I quit smoking weed. So I'll just say that. Like, I used to smoke a lot of weed to kind of numb out my relationship with my husband, and like I don't do that anymore, so I feel a lot happier. Mm-hmm. I sleep better. I met someone new. I'm in this program. I really love my job. Like, I got promoted during that time. Like, there's a lot going on that's great, but it was by far the most challenging last 18 months that I think I've ever had.
Yeah, so there's always a silver lining in many things, I guess, if you want to say that. But I want to talk about your strengths a little bit, right? Because I feel like in addition to like these roadblocks that you just talked about, there's got to be strengths that you've been able to pinpoint about yourself. So again, whether they're personal or professional, can you tell me what those strengths are or what you consider those to be?
Yeah, I mean, I manage people for a living. Like, granted, I manage a business and business strategy and all that stuff, but the way I really look at it is like I manage people. And I think the reason I'm good at it is because I'm super transparent and really relatable. And I think it's because I manage from a place of vulnerability and transparency. And I think, at the end of the day, people work for people they like, but there's a difference between being liked and being, I think, open and more vulnerable and being seen as a person as opposed to a manager. And I think I tend to maybe overshare a bit about myself. But I think in doing so, it lets other people put down their walls and feel like they can be vulnerable back and they can be honest about who they are and what they want and where they see themselves. And I think I'm good at doing that really quickly. Like, I think I'm really good at building rapport really fast. And so that's something I pride myself on. So especially when I manage as many people as I do, I don't get to see them or spend a lot of time with each one. So the ability to break that down quickly and be seen in that light quickly, I think is an important piece of like, I'm like the headstone, right? Like, I'm the image of like when they think Gallo, they think me. And I want them to think that Gallo is, someone they can trust and listen to and appreciate and put their fucking career in my hands, right? Like, that's what I do. They put their career in my hands, and I need them to understand pretty quickly who I am as a person and that I can be trusted with that. So I think vulnerability is a big piece of it. So I'd say I think that's a strength. And the only other thing I'd say is a strength is just fucking efficiency. Like if I had to put down like what my middle name should be, Madeline Efficiency Blake.
That's it.
Yeah, that's who she is. Like I move really fast. I make decisions very quickly. I'm able to problem solve quickly. And I think prioritize linearly. How do you get from A to Z? And how do you do that as quickly and efficiently, not just quickly, but quickly and well done.
Right.
And I think I'm very good at that. And thank God, because the mass exodus of people, I'm covering 5 jobs right now. Mm-hmm. So if I wasn't fast and good at what I did, I think everything would implode.
Wow. That's
so those are my 2 things I'd say I'm good at.
That's incredible. I mean, that's efficiency is.
I mean, I hope you maybe see some of that. It comes off kind of strong sometimes in our group dynamic. Probably a little bit too strong, but it's just because like there's a lot we gotta do.
I would agree with your middle name, efficiency.
Yeah.
Efficiency. Maybe that was the word I was looking for, but you put it right there.
There it is.
That's a great quality to have. I mean, most people would be very envious of anyone with high efficiency.
It can be for when you're working for yourself. It's tough when you're working with other people. Like it's tough for me to turn that off when I'm in a group dynamic with you guys.
Ah, interesting.
Because that to me is like all I want to do is solve the problem the quickest and best way possible. And for me that means sometimes like we don't need to talk about it. We just need to do it. And so I have a very hard time turning that off and practicing patience.
You've been good to our group so far, so we can't complain too much.
It takes a lot of self-control.
All right. This next question is my favorite question of the entire podcast because I feel this is something that probably is going to get you to, dig deep.
Okay,
right?
I'm ready.
So what is something that you want or need to share that you feel that the folks here at Anderson need to know about you? And why is that important?
Yeah, I don't know how to answer this question. Like, this is a shitty question. I don't know.
Oh my God.
Everybody's
don't know. Always said that's a great question and you just called it a shitty question.
Because I don't.
That breaks my heart.
It scares me, I guess. It's shitty because it scares me. It's not that it's a bad question. It's a bad question for me to answer because I don't have an answer, I guess. What do I want people to know about me?
That you feel it's important. Remember, that's the context.
I don't.
You have to feel that
I don't
it's
think there's
important.
anything that's so important that people need to know.
Really?
I don't know if that's in and of itself something we should maybe talk to a therapist about.
I don't know.
But okay, so here's the thing. Here's how I'll put it in perspective.
Okay.
Because I think that is the issue with me. It's the same thought process that makes me really sad when I think I never want a tattoo. I would love a tattoo. I think they're fun. I think there's a lot of artistry to them. But I don't have something that's important enough to me to put on my body permanently. And that seems kind of fucked up, though. Why isn't there something that's important enough to me that I would
have a tattoo, and I would never. I mean.
Okay, but like, what does that say about me? Like, there's nothing that I value so much I'd put it on my body.
But you
want
to. I see the difference, though. The difference is that you do want a tattoo, but you just don't have something that you
important enough.
Okay.
Which I guess, which is kind of what this question is, which is like, what's something that people need to know about you? It's like, well, nothing. No one needs to know anything about me. It's not. I'm not that important. There's nothing that's that important that people need to know.
That's interesting.
Right?
No, that's.
So that's why this question's hard.
It's a tough question. It's a tough question.
What do other people say?
You got to listen to the other podcast.
I know, I gotta listen to it. I gotta do that.
There's no, and it's a fair answer, right? Because it's not like you're dodging the question.
No.
You answer the question, but it's your answer makes absolute sense.
If you want to talk about deep, I feel like I went deep there. I feel like I showed you there is not something that I think anyone needs to know because I'm not that important. Well, that's how I see it.
No, but that last part I don't agree with, because you're not that important. No, maybe you don't deem as important of that specific thing, but we don't even know what that is.
I think maybe, time is our most valuable asset. And the fact that we're choosing to spend our time here together, I think says something about everyone in this program. So if there's one thing that people need to know about me, it's that I want to be able to help you. So if there's someone that needs help in something that I'm good at, like I would want to take time to help that person to do it. Does that help?
Just because nobody can see me raising my hands, sure. But like right now I'm raising both of my hands. You just nailed that.
I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so?
I just
You-
want people to
that-
like
no-
use me as an asset, I guess.
Isn't that what most of us want here though?
I don't know.
I think
hope
a lot
so.
of
guess
I
that's
think a lot of
probably
us
true.
want that. I mean, at least from our team, I feel like that is the case.
No, it's definitely the case with our team.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and then even like, we talk with our section, right? Like
Yeah.
our section seems pretty cool, pretty vibing.
No, they're pretty
and I
cool.
think that for the most part, like most of the people that come here is because they want to better themselves, is because they want to become part of a network and a community.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're a fucking community.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's what we are.
It's so fun.
So
We made new friends. You know how hard it is to make new friends as an adult?
yes, very hard. Very, very hard. Maddie, no, I really, really want to thank you for opening up like that, because it is intended to be a tough question. As I told you,
Yeah.
you're supposed to dig deep and think about that. But what you said was something very genuine. It just came, from your heart. It has nothing to do with, well, like, oh, I want people to like, look at me as an asset. No, it's like, it's legit, right? Like you would not be saying something that you like wouldn't want to do, right? Like
No.
imagine like if a bunch of people out of nowhere like that listen to this, go like, hey, I heard that, like, and then you just turned out to be like just lying, conniving person.
No, the way I look at it is like, so organizational behavior, this class we're taking,
Right.
this is what I do for a living, Like I want people to help other people that are maybe newer to management or have less employees or have questions on how to navigate that stuff. Like that's all I do all the time, So if anyone has questions on it, I'd love to share my perspective.
Yeah, and I think that, to your point, there's a lot of things that people can learn from each other just across the board.
100%.
So, I mean, just as you pointed that out, I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that are going to be more than willing to help you in whatever you may need,
I know.
So that's the great part,
I know.
again, about being part of this fucking
So
community,
cool.
right? This awesome
I'm
community.
gonna need a lot of help in finance next quarter.
I already told a couple of, actually I shouldn't say a couple, a specific guy.
Everyone.
A specific guy. Hey,
Tim.
yeah. I was like, if I could afford you as my CFO, I'd definitely hire you as my CFO.
Okay.
I just can't afford you.
No, duly noted though. Duly noted. We'll use his help for free.
All right. So now, again, thank you for that. But this is the more fun part. All right.
Okay,
Not so analytical, not so like thought provoking, or maybe who knows.
Okay.
But it's time for a rapid fire. Ready?
5,
All right.
6, 7, 8.
Here we go. All right. So let's start off first by naming your favorite book.
Ooh. Atlas Shrugged.
All right. Who is your favorite author?
Ayn Rand.
All right.
Philosophy major. Maybe Friedrich Nietzsche.
Maybe.
Potentially. I named my dog after him.
All right. What's your favorite TV show?
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
What's your favorite movie?
It's a Wonderful Life.
And your favorite actor or actress?
0. I don't watch movies.
Oh,
I don't have the
TV show?
I don't have
No?
the attention span for it. Maybe Amy Poehler,
Okay.
Parks and Rec. 'Cause,
Maybe.
That's yeah, I don't really have a favorite. Like I won't. If there's an actor, like if there's like something someone's in, I'm not like super into it. Listen, I think Shia LaBeouf super hot. I know that's weird, but okay, we'll go with Shia LaBeouf.
All right. We'll keep it at that. Who's your favorite musician?
Eminem.
All right.
Britney Spears would be number 2.
Let's move on.
I know the words to every song.
Wow. All right.
Yeah,
Could
if you wanna-
you want to give us a little lyrics or something?
Yeah, no,
Let's do
I
it,
mean,
let's
that's
do
what
it.
I do for a living.
Let's do it.
On the side is my karaoke with Eminem. Very
Right.
talented. You can check it out on my Instagram. It's at Maddy Blakes.
There you go.
And you'll see some live raps in the car.
A couple of live raps of Eminem.
Mm-hmm, all the time.
All right. There you go. And that being said, favorite song?
Rap God
Rap God.
by Eminem.
All right. So
Yeah,
spit some lyrics.
you assume I'm a human. What I gotta do to get it through to you? I'm superhuman, animated, animated, rubber, said anything you say is ricocheting off of me. You know, glue to you, never said anyone, demonstrating how to give a motherfucking audience a feeling that's levitating, never fading. I know the haters are forever waiting for the they can say I play off to be celebrating. Cause another way to get them motivated, I make elevator music. You make elevator music. Oh, he's too mainstream. What's what they do when they get jealous? They confuse it. Is that good? Do you want me to keep going?
That was good.
Yeah.
That was sick.
Yeah, no.
How many words like per minute is that?
I don't know. I
Yeah.
think I stumbled through most of it.
No,
too.
no,
It's
no,
been a
that was
minute
clean.
since I've said that out loud.
No, that was very, very clean. Now, do you like any sports?
No.
No sports. All right. So that means that you like no athlete either.
No, I don't. No.
No.
No, I don't have
dig it.
time for that. It's just not a passion. I was a stat girl in high school for my team's basketball, or for my school's basketball team. So I know a lot about basketball.
Okay.
That's as far as it goes, really.
That's it. All right,
Yeah.
it ends right there.
Yeah,
Stats.
a lot of knowledge, but no.
No passion for
I
the
played
sports.
golf in high school, so
You did?
just to put that in perspective. It was to get out of running the mile.
Okay.
So
So it was either swinging a club or running the mile.
correct. And I
Okay.
chose golf. It's been great for business.
Hey, I'm sure, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many times a month, a year, or a week do you play golf?
Probably once a month, not as much as I obviously used to, but I've had to teach my whole sales team how to play golf so that they
Yeah,
can.
they kind of need to, right?
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
working on it.
All right.
It's like Maddie's golf classes on Thursday afternoons.
What's your favorite hobby?
Maybe playing piano. Also television. I love television.
Okay.
I just don't have time for it right now. But yeah, I like playing piano. I like being with my dog.
Do you have a song that you like to play when you're playing the piano?
I only play classical.
Which one?
Tchaikovsky's my favorite composer.
Okay.
Followed by maybe I like playing Clair de Lune a lot, and I like playing little minuets by Bach before bed, but
Okay.
nothing too. I'm not very good, so let me back up and say I'm not very good, but I do enjoy playing.
But that's
it.
what you like. Okay, now that's what matters, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not great at it, but I love doing that too.
Yeah, it's a good like decompressing thing,
Yeah,
and working out. I like to hit the gym.
There you go. For this last one, who is the leader that you admire the most and why?
I think, honestly, my old boss. I've worked for him twice, and I feel like I've kind of hitched myself to his wagon. His name's Casey, and he had my job before I took it. And he is really patient, and that's something I've been working on. But when you're with him, it feels like there's no one else around. Like, it feels like his attention is on you the entire time. And he's really intentional with what he says and how he says it. And that, for someone like me who's not as patient and kind of bubbly and maybe a little bit too talkative, I constantly put myself back thinking, like, how would Casey deal with this? What would Casey say, and how would he say it? In a way to challenge myself to be, like, a better, more thoughtful and intentional person.
That's
I think
awesome.
intentionality is, like, one of my biggest takeaways and things that I want to continue working on.
That's great. That's great. That sounds like a good role model or former boss to have had. You know?
Yeah. It's important to have those.
That's awesome. Well, Maddie, we pretty much have come to the end of this podcast.
Great work.
I think that it has been very, very wonderful. As I mentioned earlier, I know that you're extremely busy, so I want to thank you for spending time talking to us. Hopefully, there's enough people to get an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. The goal of the podcast, obviously, is for people to get to know you a little bit better without even having to talk to you yet. And then maybe, you know what's going to happen?
They want to be my best friend?
Exactly.
Sure.
So thank you so much again for doing this. I really, really appreciate it. So for those of you that are listening to us right now, please make sure that you reach out to me. Let me know, hey, I really dig the podcast, or hey, your podcast sucks, but I still want to do it.
Sure, rate, review, and subscribe.
Exactly. So on behalf of Maddie, I am Joe. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch
Thanks,
you next
Joe.
time.
Appreciate it.